Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Chat to a Champ today. We are talking to Dave Morris, one of our aerial skiers. Dave, give us a big wave. Good morning.
Hello.
All right. Let's start off with, it's been a couple of months since our chatted with you last. What have you been up to since?
Well, I've just come back. Well, not just come back. Last month, came back from the summer. I was overseas in the US. Been working on all my skills. I managed to learn a new skill, which is doing 3 flips and 5 twists, which is one that I plan on doing at the Olympics and hopefully win a medal with. And for the last month, just been in the gym, working out, trying to get massive muscles. It hasn't worked, but I'm definitely stronger. And then on Saturday, we're going to head over to Finland to start the winter.
Awesome stuff. All right. So today we have questions from Farn Girls' School in Tasmania, as well as East Loddon P12 College in Victoria. And we've got a couple of other schools from Victoria and New South Wales joining us as well to watch the stream. So let's start off with a question from East Loddon. This one is from Chalise in Year 5. And she wants to know, is paparazzi a problem for you?
Is paparazzi a problem? No, not really, but sometimes at the bottom, when like between a competition, you go up and do another jump, there's people who want to take photos and want autographs and all that stuff, which is fine. I don't mind doing it, but sometimes they take up a little too much of your time. So you have to say, look, sorry, I've got to get back up and train, go and do another jump, or come back after the competition and we can take more photos then. But I haven't had a major problem with it.
Hopefully,
I wish it was a problem. Wish I was more famous.
Hopefully it's not a problem in South Korea either. Okay, so Lily Hodgman from Farn, Year 5, wants to know, if you could have any other job in the world other than being a skier or a teacher, what would that be?
A stuntman, I think. I tried once, and I got through all these rounds of people that were trying out to the top 3, but I was too young at the time. So I reckon being a stuntman for movies or like Universal Studios or something would be pretty sweet. It's pretty much what I do anyway.
Yeah, and you've got the flipping and the twisting and down and everything.
Just can make it a bit more crazy and look like I'm actually dying.
No worries. All right, this one's from Caden in Year 4. How many medals or titles have you won? If you can.
How many medals? I can't remember them all. There's bits and pieces. I got a couple. So I got this is my first gold medal for the World Cup in the Ukraine. I have a second overall medal for the season in 2013. Then there's the Olympic medal, which is the big chunky one. It's a lot bigger than this one. I got a team medal. I think I've got about 8 significant medals, only about 4 or 5, maybe 6 World Cup medals. But they all have significant meanings depending on, like this one was my first win, so that was really cool. And obviously the Olympic one is not a win, but it's a silver, but it's Olympic medal. It's a big deal too. So I've got a couple. Really cool one though is I'm #1 in Australia always, because there's just no other boys. First day I started, #1.
Easy win there, hey?
Yeah, simple.
All right. So this question is from Annie at East Loddon in Year 5. She wants to know if you get dizzy when you're up in the air.
I don't get dizzy because it happens very, very quickly. Every so often I forget, I guess you could say, forget where the ground is, and sort of I look in the wrong direction and I see the sky and I think it's the ground and I get all lost in the air, but I don't get dizzy because it's just so quick and it's over like that, and it's not too mental. I close my eyes a lot of the time too.
Lots of practice as well helps with that one.
Exactly.
All right, so this one is from Matilda from Farn School. And this is a bit of a political question. This is
political question.
But how do you feel about the Winter Olympics being so close to North Korea?
Good question. It doesn't bother me. The Olympics in Sochi were also a dangerous place to go, but nothing went wrong. There's good security. Being so close to North Korea sounds like it's really scary, but I'm not at all worried about it. Security's fine. We've got people whose jobs are to tell us whether it's dangerous or not and whether we should go or not. And so far, no one said anything. And unless that changes, we're going to go and I'm going to compete. My family's going, so I'm not really stressed out. But there's experts that will tell us if it gets really scary, and then they'll cancel it or tell us that it's too dangerous to go. So I'm not too worried.
Too much training so far to just not go.
Yeah.
All right, next question from Matea. Have you ever been injured, and if so, what was your injury and how long did it take for you to recover?
I've had A couple. I've had one concussion, which took me a week to recover from. I knocked my head on the side. That wasn't super fun. I've had a back injury that I'm sort of still getting over because I never really got it fixed. And I think that's about 10 years old now, but it doesn't really bother me so much, but it's still kind of there. I had a hip injury, I had a surgery on my hip that took me 6 months to recover from, to be able to start doing sport normally again. And it's then lasted another sort of year to really get strong again. But all the injuries, they continually sort of go forever, but it's about managing them and doing everything else right so they don't bother you so much. So I've been pretty lucky compared to some other people, but haven't been injury-free either.
Awesome. All right, next question from Blake from East Loddon, Year 5. Do you ever get cold in your uniform when you're at the top of the ramp?
Yes, very cold. There's like when we're going to South Korea this time, I think last time it was in the -20s to -30s. It's very cold and it doesn't matter how many layers you put on, it doesn't help. So I'm up there in my uniform, then I put on a huge jacket on top to stay out of the wind. If we're lucky, there's like a warm tent with a heater in there and we'll hang out in there. But sometimes it's just completely miserable. And then again, if it's too warm, it's also miserable because then you're sweating in all your ski gear, so you can never win.
Always uncomfortable.
Always uncomfortable. It's not super fun.
Alrighty, next question from Maddie from Farn. This is a good one. How much money do you reckon you spend on aerial skiing every year?
That is a good question. I love kids' questions because adults don't ask these questions. When you start the sport, it's quite a lot of money. It can be up in about $10,000, $15,000 because there's a lot of flights when you travel around the world, and all the equipment like skis cost a lot of money, boots cost a lot of money, and I need a new pair of boots sort of every winter because I like to be up to date with it and make sure they're not broken. But as you get better and better, we get more and more funding from the government because we're a government-sponsored team. So now that I'm in the top-ranked people in the world and I've got results, I don't pay for much anymore other than some equipment things. So I don't spend a lot of money, but at the start it's very, very expensive. But in the end, you end up sort of being supported. We don't make money as such, but we get given things, which is pretty handy.
Yeah, that's right. Support of our country, isn't that right?
That's right.
All right, next question. How many hours a week do you train?
In the summer, we train probably 30 hours a week, maybe a bit more. We do 2 sessions of jumping every day, or 5 days a week. And then we have a gym session. After each one of those, we'll do a bit of trampolining. Sometimes we have ballet. And in the winter, we only have about 1 jumping session a day and then maybe a gym session. So it's probably about 3 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week in the winter. So it's a lot less in the winter. So it's not as crazy as some other sports. You train 40 hours a week, but it does take its toll nonetheless, and it's very hard on the body.
And it's still like a full-time job, so
it is a full-time job. Yep. My days off, I'm absolutely asleep and I can't be bothered doing anything because I hurt so much.
Like all of us, honestly.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, so this question's from Ned from East Loddon. He wants to know what countries and how many countries have you visited?
I actually counted this the other day. I have been to 36 different countries, not all from the sport, but a lot from the sport. And I'd love to get to every single continent. Haven't quite been there yet, but most of them are we've been to a lot of Asian countries, a lot of European countries. We travel around the US and Canada, Russia, obviously. Europe's probably the biggest one. We just go ding, 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 ding around these different countries, but I've been a lot of places. It's very cool. And I think after I finish the sport, I might do a little bit of a world trip so I can experience them a bit better without taking my stupid ski bag. Because that's annoying.
Which continent have you not been to?
I haven't been to Africa or to the Antarctic or South America. So I've got three to go. I've been very close a couple of times, but just haven't done it.
Not quite got there. Oh well.
No.
Around the world trip it is.
Yeah, soon.
Alrighty. So Evie from Farn School wants to know, how's your training program come along since the last time you spoke to the schools?
It's come a long way. At the start, I think when I spoke to you last time, we were still sort of building up through some of the skills. We got where we wanted to at the end of the summer. I actually got there early, so I had about a week and a half of I could just sort of not mess around, but we were where we wanted to be, and I could just get some more numbers in, have a good time without too much stress. We achieved what we wanted to achieve. We feel very confident. going into the winter, and especially with this new skill that's going to be very scary for me to do. But the plan is going ahead, and we'll start the winter. We start again at the basics. Start with a single flip on snow and add it up until we get to 3 flips and just start adding twists, and hopefully we can peak at the right time at the Olympics, because as an Australian team, we've actually all qualified already for the Olympics as such. So we don't have to suddenly do very well this year at any particular events. We can build up to the Olympics and perform on that day and peak at the right moment. That's a big advantage to us.
Awesome. And now, speaking of the Olympics, Ashton wants to know, how many people do you compete against in the Olympic competition?
Actually, we compete against less people at the Olympics because it's a big and special event. Not everyone qualifies. So normally at a World Cup, there can be 30, nearly 40 guys in the field, and it takes a long time to do training because everyone's pushing in, as we do. At the Olympics, it's only allowed to be 25 men and 25 women. So you only compete against 25 people. And again, not everyone qualifies, so sometimes it's even less than that. So it sort of makes it a little bit easier. But obviously the best people are there, so it's also very, very difficult.
Yes, very good. All right, so this one might take you a while to answer.
I'll try and do a short answer here.
Amy from East Lotton wants to know, what are the main rules for aerial skiing and how is it scored?
Okay, so how it's judged, there are 2 qualification rounds, and in each round, the top 6 in each round will go through to the final. So if I'm in the first round and I do a really nice jump and I'm in the top 6, I go straight into the finals. I don't need to jump again. Everyone else who's not in the top 6 jumps again in the second round of qualifications. They have to do a different jump to the first round. Those top 6 go through, and we end up with a field of top 12 people. And then there's 3 rounds of finals. It goes 12, 9, and 6. And each time, if you make it through, you're not allowed to repeat the skill that you did in the last round of finals. So you have to have 3 different skills in the finals. The better people will have a good one at the end, which is what I'm hoping to do. Other people will use all their good ones to get through and then have a sort of easy one, and they may not get a medal with it. We're judged on how good our takeoff is, how high we go, how straight we are in the air, how nice our twist looks, how tight our body is. It just has to be a nice looking jump. You have to make it look easy, and then obviously landing is a big deal. You have to land. Crashing doesn't get you anywhere. So nice landing, and then you have to land better than everyone else and make it look like it wasn't a big deal. So that's sort of the main bits and pieces. Yeah, I think that's the general gist. There's heaps of other technical rules that no one really needs to know about, but it's about doing awesome looking jumps, make it look easy, and sell it to the judges so they think that you did the best.
So not many rules at all, really.
I mean, it's a pretty simple sport, if we're going to be honest. You just sort of stand there, you wave your arms around, spin, and you go, hey, that was cool, wasn't it? Yeah. And they go, yeah, that was okay. You can win. Thanks.
Oh, good. Alrighty, next question is from Annabelle from Fun. She wants to know if you have a favorite pair of skis.
Oh, that's a good question too. No, but I try and use the same pair for the whole winter because I kind of get attached to them. And I have my little superstitions. I put the same skis on the same feet every time, otherwise it feels weird. It's like putting your pants on and putting the wrong leg in first. It just doesn't feel right. So these will be my ones for this year. I'll have a left and a right ski. I'll try and use them the whole year. Obviously, if they break or something, I'll have to switch pairs, but I become very attached to my pair. Once I start landing on them, I feel like they're lucky skis, so I don't change them over. So I switch every year to a new pair.
Will they be the skis that you compete in the Olympics on?
Yep, they'll be the same ones. So I'll use them throughout the season, and if they stay in one piece, which they should, I'll use them at the games too, because then they're reliable and I don't think there's anything wrong with them. Because that's the last thing you want to be thinking about is there something wrong with my skis? But if you trust them, it's no problem. Definitely
not. All right, and next question is from Isla. When did you start skiing? Let's go back. I started skiing,
yeah, a long time ago. Oh God, long time. I started skiing when I was 3 years old. My parents taught me how to ski, so they'd put me between their legs and just throw me down the run basically, and we went up every year, just a weekend or something. So I wasn't amazing at it by any means, but I knew how to ski and how to stay upright. So I've been skiing for now 30 years, which is a very long time.
Not that long.
Too long.
All right, so next question from Casey. We kind of had this question before, but have you had any injuries or broken anything since the last time you spoke to the pools?
No injuries, nothing broken. I've actually never broken anything. Where's something to knock on? Haven't broken any major bones or anything. I've torn some ligaments and stuff back in the past, but since I last saw you, I've been very healthy because I go and see my physio a lot more now because I get old and I have to see her like nearly every day to be like, please fix my body. I just get very sore, but no major injuries, just old man soreness.
Just lots of training. We'll call that lots of training.
Yeah, a lot of training, and everyone gets sore, but I just don't recover as fast as I used to, so I have to be smarter now.
All right, so this question is from Alice from Farn. She wants to know, what's your favorite sport apart from aerial skiing?
I love watching the gymnastics still, because that's still, I was a gymnast back in the day, so I always love watching that. I'm going to be biased and go for the winter sports. I really like watching dual moguls, which you don't normally see. It's normal moguls, they just go down the bumps and do their jumps. In some competitions, they have dual moguls, they have two people racing each other, and it's super fast, crazy dangerous, and people crash all the time. And really, let's be honest, that's why we watch after these sports, to watch people crash. I did the same for aerials. And it's very exciting. So I'd probably say dual moguls is one of my favorites to watch, because it's in your face, and there's people trying so hard that they're going to lose control. It's awesome.
Lots of crashes.
Yeah. Who doesn't like crashes?
This question is from Courtney. She wants to know, did you always want to be an aerial skier?
No, I definitely didn't. I never thought of it for most of my gymnastics career. I had a coach mention it to me once. She's like, oh, you should try aerials. And I was like, nah, that sounds stupid. I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be a vet, astronaut, all that normal stuff. I even started to study to be a teacher before I was introduced to aerials. And then one day it just sort of popped up again. Someone's like, hey, you want to try aerials? I was like, no, I guess I'll try it. And then I enjoyed it so much that I didn't stop. I'd never thought of it until I was 19, really, and got my first taste of it, and then haven't stopped since. But it was never the plan. It was just lucky.
Awesome. Alrighty. So Cade from Year 5 at East London wants to know, how competitive is aerial skiing?
It's very competitive sport. A lot of countries around the world are very good at it. Obviously, Australia is one of the top teams in it. The US is very good. Belarus is very good. China, Russia, basically all the teams have some very good jumpers, and there's no day where I'll turn up and expect to beat everyone, because everyone trains well. I am friends with everyone, so I also know how good they are and what they've been doing, but it's super competitive. And at the Olympics, you will see the best people in the world jumping, and they will blow your mind, because there's going to be some amazing skills, and everyone is peaking this year because they've worked up to the Olympic year to make sure all their skills are the best this year. So you're going to see some of the best jumps that you'll ever see. It's going to be hard.
Awesome. That's why it's the Olympics, isn't it?
That's right. You can't just turn up without training and hope you can do well. It just wouldn't happen. No, everyone's well trained and ready to be there. Hopefully, I'm more well trained than everyone else.
That's the aim. All right. This question is from Ty. He wants to know, what's your favorite trick?
It's probably changed now. I think now that I've started doing this 5 twists in 3 flips, I think that may be my new favorite, because it's super scary. But when you do it and it all works, it's just the most amazing skill to spin as fast as you possibly can, stay super tight, and everyone who watches it is just like, what was that? I enjoy doing it. I think it's going to be way more scary on snow, but on water, it was a lot of fun to do. I didn't mess many up, so that's always nice when I don't crash too many. I think that's probably my new favorite, because it really challenges my abilities, and it's terrifying. And to be super scared and do it well, the combination of those two feelings put together is very unique, and I enjoy that.
Awesome. All right. So speaking of being scared, Daisy wants to know, were you scared the first time you went up on the highest ramp?
Terrified, and I'm still terrified. It never changes. You come down very fast. The jump is massive. You go 14, 15 meters up in the air. It's always scary. And the first time I went up on the big one, it was super windy. And I talked myself into going and doing it, because they're like, hey, you just got to go and do triple flips. I'm like, all right, I'm going up there. So I psyched myself up, and I got up the top, and it was stupidly windy. Like, mats were blowing off the trampolines over the fence. No one would normally jump. But because I was up there, I was like, well, I'm not walking back down the stairs, because I've already psyched myself up. So I went, and it was terrifying, of course. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so huge, and ended up not being that big because it was windy. And I landed right on the side of my body. And everyone was laughing because I thought I was massive, and I was stretching for my life, like, oh, I'm so high up, and I wasn't. And I landed on my ear. But it was most people do that. It was funny because it didn't hurt, but it was scary, and it's still scary every time.
Oh, well, at least there were no major injuries. That's the main thing.
Yeah, no one's perfect. I wish I was, but it's not realistic.
Okay, we've got a bit of a logistical question from Holly in Year 5. What transport do you use to get between the Olympic Village and the event site?
Oh, I don't know, because the test event, we were living in a different place. So I think in the village, I assume we'll probably get cars or team vans or something. There are trains and things available for the public, but generally we try to stay separate from the public because we just need to be separate from everyone to make sure it's safe for us, of course. But in South Korea, we have a sub-site, so we're not actually going to be in the village. We're going to be living about a kilometre away from our event in like a little condo just for the Australian team. So I'll probably be able to walk, which will be handy because then I don't have to rely on traffic or anything. I can just leave when I want and come back when I want. So that's pretty handy. Less stress.
Yeah, and sometimes at Olympic Games, there is a hour to 2 hours sitting on transport before you get to the venue. So we try and eliminate that as much as we can. So
there's a lot of security for the public, and we don't want to go through that because once we get through security, we just want to be able to go back and forth from the event and not have that stress us out any more than we need to because there's a lot of things going on.
That's right. And it's someone's full-time job at the Australian Olympic team to make sure that all of our athletes get from where they need to go, village, and then to their event site. So it's under control. Dave will not be walking in the freezing cold snow.
Yeah, it's not my job. I just do what I'm told. Like that's pretty much what I do my whole life.
All right, this one is from Madison. She wants to know, how fast do you travel when you're doing a twist or a turn?
On the smallest jumps, if you were to start the sport and go off the single and do one flip, you go, I think it's 44, 45 kilometers an hour. The double is 57. And on the triple, it's anywhere between 65 to 70 kilometers an hour, depending on how big you want to go. I get very close to 70 kilometers an hour now because the bigger the jump you do, the more score you get and the more time you have in the air to get everything done. So it's quite fast. If you ever stuck your head out the window of your car at 70 kilometers an hour, you can get an idea of what it feels like. And then imagine there's a 4.5 meter high jump in front of you that you have to go, shoo, scary.
All our students at East Loddon Primary School are now going to be sticking their heads out the car on the way home.
Like, Mum, go 70, go 70.
All right, another question about speed. Noah would like to know, how fast do you go when you're traveling down the ramp?
That's the same, yes. That's 70 kilometers an hour when I do my big ones. And it does depend on the conditions. So if it's really windy, we might have to go faster. Because the wind will slow you down, so you might come in at 80 kilometers an hour, and by the time you get to the jump, you'll be going 70. We just want to make sure that the speed at the end of the jump is the same every time. So it doesn't matter how fast you come in or how far away or how close you start to the jump. If the end speed is the right speed, then we can do our jumps properly. So it depends on the conditions, but in the end, it's the same speed.
Awesome. All right, another question about how famous you are. This is from Mason.
I wish.
Do you get a lot of fans chasing and hassling you?
I wish. If there were girls running after me all the time, I'd be super pumped. No, I don't get a lot of that. As much as I try and put everything on Facebook and Instagram and I put stupid videos up, I do have people that know me at events and it'll come up, oh, I want your signature, can I get a photo? And that's fine, but I don't walk down the street and get hassled. I can go and have lunch at a cafe without being harassed by anyone, which is actually pretty nice. I think that would actually be pretty annoying. So I'm not super famous. I'm not even sure I would like to be. I just want to be good at my sport and remembered for doing it, and that's the goal.
That's right. All right. And this one's from Isaac. What country do you enjoy competing in the most?
That's a good one too. One of the best competitions is actually in the US. It's in Deer Valley. They just bring 10,000 people as part of the crowd. It's a massive event. They have aerials and moguls and a concert, and they've got food and music and everything happening. So it's a massive event. They market it very well, and a lot of people turn up at the bottom. So the crowd's huge and make a lot of noise, and you just look down and you can just see hundreds and hundreds of heads, and they're all stuck in there because there's so many people they can't move. And just to have that sort of environment makes it really thrilling to compete in. So I love when people turn up. I'm a show off. I like people. If there's no one there, I don't feel like doing anything important.
Awesome. Okay, this one we kind of answered, kind of not. It's from Brody. How many sets of skis will you be taking to the game?
I will be taking 2 sets of skis. So I'll have my normal ones I jump on and a backup pair just in case I break one. You can never predict when you're going to break a pair. If you have a really bad crash, maybe they'll break. I haven't broken a pair on snow before, So I just take 2, and if I break 1, I'll probably be broken anyway, so it won't end well. So just 2, just to be safe.
Alrighty, well, that's all the questions that we have from our schools. But maybe, Dave, you can run us through a little bit what we are 3 months and 1 day away from the opening ceremony of the Olympics. What do the next 3 months and 1 day look like for you?
Well, today, the 1 day, I'm going to get my boots fixed so they fit my feet nicely, so they're nice and comfortable. On Saturday, we leave to go to Finland. We're going to be there for a month, just training, building up the skills up to some of our harder skills so that we can compete in the first World Cups, which are in China. So just before Christmas, we're going to fly over to China, have 2 competitions there, spend Christmas and New Year's in the US because the next competitions are over there, have 3 competitions in the US, 2 in Utah and Deer Valley, which is one of my favorites. Oh, sorry, 1 in Deer Valley and 2 in Lake Placid over the other side. Then we're going to head back to Finland again to have a training camp just before we head over to South Korea. So just to sort of start everything again, fix any mistakes that we've been doing throughout the year, reset the body, bit of a fitness camp, I guess, to set ourselves up, and then head to South Korea. We actually have training the day after the opening ceremony, which is tricky because I love going to the opening ceremony. I think it's a big deal. I love turning up and waving and doing that stuff. But it is a bit of a thought whether is it worth going if we're training the next day and will I be tired? I'm pretty sure I'm still going to go because I just love going. And if I'm tired the next day, oh well, too bad. I like putting on the uniform and be like, hello everyone, Australia's here, you know, we're really good. And then 6 days of training in PyeongChang, and then the competition, and we'll see how it goes. The weather could be crazy, it could be perfect. I hope to, in between now and then, practice my really hard skill, which is 3 flips and 5 twists. If it's a really good day, 1 day during training or a competition, I'll try and do it just to make sure I've done it once at least. And then hopefully we get the opportunity at the Olympics to get through all the finals rounds, get into the last round and throw down the hardest skill that I can do and hopefully get a medal and make it awesome and survive.
Awesome.
Survival, important.
And do you know the date that your Olympic final is on for all of our schools?
I probably should know the date. I don't. I just turn up again. I just turn up and do what I'm told. The dates are available. I haven't looked them up because it's so far ahead now that it doesn't matter to me when it is at the moment. I just have to concentrate on what's next. So thinking about doing the really hard skill on snow makes me quite nervous. The first thing we're going to do when we get to Finland is we're going to build the site, chop the landing hill, make it all safe, and I'm going to do a single flip off the smallest jump. That I can do, so that's all I'm really worried about at the moment is what do I have to do on day 1, and then once day 1's over, I will start worrying about day 2, and it leads into the Olympics, and by the time we get there, we'll be ready. But for the moment, that's a long way ahead. It's a lot to think about, so I actually don't really think about it until I have to. I don't need any more stress.
Awesome. All right. Well, do you want to say a big thanks for the questions and farewell to our schools? Anything else you want to leave with?
Oh, I don't know. Yes, so thank you for the questions. They are very good. I do appreciate them, and they are very good questions. I hope you enjoyed it. I just me blabbing on by myself as I normally do. Hope you can tune into the Olympics. It will be very exciting. There's a whole bunch of sports and represented for Australia, and a lot of good athletes this year. We are actually sending our best team over. Everyone says it every time, but we really are sending our best team over. We've got some fantastic results in the last 2 years, so keep your eye on other athletes. Check out some of the other talks like this that they're going to have. I think today they've got Kailani, who's a skater, ice skater, and Brody, who is a mogul skier, and I think their sports are also mental. They think mine's crazy, but I think theirs are crazy too. I couldn't do it. So keep an eye out for the other talks. Follow some other athletes. Get behind the team. Send in your messages because we do read them. And I'll probably talk to you again while I'm overseas or something and let you know. Let you have another update. I'll be in the snow then. I'll be wearing much warmer clothes and have a beanie on or something. So good luck for the rest of your school year. Enjoy your holidays.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Dave. Give us a big wave.
See you later.
Thank you very much for tuning in. All right.